Thank you. I'd like to call to order the special board meeting of the Frankfurt Plant Board for Wednesday, September 29th, 2021. September 28th, 2021. We're doing this via Zoom. And the first item would be, Kathy, you want to call the roll?
Member Dutton Mitchell?
Here.
Member Snyder?
Here.
Member Mason?
Here.
Member Cuban?
Here.
And Mr. DeLong?
Here.
Next item would be first, Jason, want to welcome you to the plant board. And sorry to put you in a special meeting in the middle of the day right off the bat here.
No worries. I'm really honored to be joining.
Well, we look forward to working with you. And since you've answered the role, we better get you sworn in. Okay, are you ready?
I think I'm ready.
Now let me ask, just to make sure, you've not fought the duel, right?
How recently? No.
No. Since the modern Constitution. Here we go.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Here's the oath. I do solemnly swear that I support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth, and be faithful to the Commonwealth of Kentucky so long as I continue a citizen thereof, and that I will faithfully execute to the best of my ability the office of member of the Frankfurt Electric and Water Plant Board of the City of Frankfurt according to law, and I do further solemnly swear that since the adoption of the present Constitution, I, being a citizen of the state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state nor out of it, nor have I sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with the deadly weapons, nor have I acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending. So help me God.
I solemnly swear.
Congratulations, sir. And Kathy will have the paperwork for you to sign and submit it. So welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anything you want to, any statement or anything you want to make starting off, or?
Nope, just happy to be here.
Okay. Next item is item 2.1. It's withdrawal of award of bid invitation number 1727 to Cape Electrical Supply and award bid 1727 to Irby in the amount of $131,936. Jennifer, you want to give us a little info on this and what we got going on here?
Yes. At the last board meeting last week, bid 1727 was awarded to Cape. I don't know if you remember, they were not the low bidder. However, they were recommended due to the lead time of the material. After that bid was awarded and we issued a purchase order, they responded that they were not able to honor the price or lead time. So I attached a new quote from them in the original tab sheet to the agenda. So therefore, we just went back to the low bidder, and we asked that you withdraw that award and award the bid to Irby, who was the original low bidder.
And pricing wise, this is what, a little cheaper then?
Yes, it would be 131,936 versus the 142 that was awarded.
Okay.
So a little over 10,000.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions of Jennifer?
I do. Just how does it change the lead time?
Their lead time is 8 to 10 weeks. So originally Cape had a large quantity in stock, and I think that was most of their problem, is most of that was sold by the time we issued the PO. So it does affect the lead time quite a bit. We are looking into ordering maybe some smaller quantities from other vendors that have that in stock to hold us over until we can get this in. It's a normal inventory item, so anything we order is normally held in inventory anyway. This larger quantity was just to set aside for the Tiger Grant project. So it's something we use that we would have in inventory anyway.
And this is the one that the city originally wanted us to go on and authorized us to spend more in order to get the materials in, right?
Correct. They had wanted us to go with the lower lead time, but at this point, none of them, they're all about the same because the stock that was there is gone.
Okay. Then will this slow down our work on the Tiger Grant project at all?
If it takes 8 to 10 weeks, it will slow down our work with the Tiger Grant. We have been in conversations with Chuck Knowles with the city and discussing this issue with them and the slowdown, so they are aware of it. Again, Jennifer and them are going to try to look if there's any way we can find smaller quantities and maybe be able to do it bit by bit as those pieces come in and try to reduce the slowdown. But at this point, we just don't see any way around it. But the city is aware of it, and they'll work with us as best they can.
Okay.
So John,
any question? Yes, Steve. I was going to say, do anybody have any questions for Ben or Jennifer?
so if we go out and buy these in smaller quantities, obviously the unit price is going to be a little higher. So, do we have any expectation of what the increased cost would be to buy it in small quantities or ad hoc, in some?
So we would just have to get a quote at that time for what, if we can reach out and see what they have available, or on a shorter lead time, they would quote that.
And would the project support that cost? Will Tiger Grant support that extra cost?
We will discuss it with Chuck. If we find, let's say we find, I don't know, 1,000 feet of conduit and it's at another price, we'll discuss it with them and see what they will do. As long as they will accept the cost and put that on, then we will try to do that. But if they won't, again, as part of a larger federal grant, I'm sure larger quantities, they're going to have their quotes. So we'll see. We're trying to work with them as best we can. But if they can't do that and won't be able to, we're kind of stuck.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Approved. Next one, and Jason, just give you a little update. This is to authorize our KEMI rep to vote in favor of executing a PPA option for additional 30 megawatts of power. And I guess probably what, Catherine, maybe not quite or about a year ago or so, you had made the motion and asked, and the board approved that anytime we were going to vote on anything changing any long-term commitments at KEMI, that be brought before the board, before our reps acted. So this, Jason, is kind of in keeping with what the board has directed Gary and Vinton to do, and that is to give the board notice before he votes on any KEMI actions. And the reason for this special meeting is KEMI is going to be considering something, I guess, tomorrow. And so Gary needs direction from us in terms of how to act. So Gary, you want to take it from here?
Yes. As the attachment we sent to the board, there is study and a basic reasoning by KYMEA. So KYMEA is going to have a board meeting tomorrow to consider to take additional 30 megawatt from Duke Energy. I go back a little bit. Last summer, KYMEA done a long study for the future planning, future resource planning. Part of the study, which the board authorized me to vote for it, is to reduce 100 megawatt coal from Illinois Power, and also reduce natural gas 30 megawatts from Paducah, reduce 90 to 60. So total reduced amount is 130. We also plan to potentially may have a solar 54 come in next year or so. Meanwhile, in that time, I'm KYMEA board and also authorized by our board to purchase 30 megawatts from Duke Energy. This is a kind of market purchase. It's a fixed capacity charge, and also based on their average system fuel cost, which is, I heard, around 3 cents. So, and but right now, recently, what happened in MISO called MaxGen event is really kind of term of the reliability term. And basically what happened is in early June 10th, MISO short capacity at a region, particular region 6, we import power from, and they start to disconnect all the, as long as you don't have a generation behind the transmission capacity, they start to cut people off. That's really kind of raise concern to us because we do have 160 megawatts, 62 megawatts transmission capacity come from MISO. We have 100 megawatts from Big River as a backup, then 30 from Duke Energy. This new additional 30 will give us 160 fully back up for the event. If something happens in the maxing event, we can avoid potentially rolling blackout. That's kind of main concern, the reason. The second concern definitely is also potentially market went up quite a bit in last year, from average 24 becomes 35. So the one big concern is if something happened like in Texas, and there could be potentially a lot of market risk, this is to give us a firm guaranteed price. That's
Gary,
the
you might
main
want to mention.
reason.
You want to mention, Gary, what happened to San Antonio?
Oh, City San Antonio in the process, based on the news, they have in the 3 days during the February, basically they got $1 billion debt, $1 billion bill. That's a huge to them. Even they are a big utility. They are maybe 20, 30 times bigger than us, but $1 billion still is a huge liability to the customer.
Does anyone have any questions? I know, Jason, this is your first time on, and there's a lot of information there, but this is kind of hitting you cold on this. But does anybody have any questions? I know Gary has researched this and asked a lot of questions of KEMI, and I think what Gary's wanting to do is he's going to go to the meeting tomorrow, and they're going to flesh all this out. And I think Gary wants the ability to go there and have the flexibility that after everything's on there and they get to the final thing, if this looks like it's in our best interest to go on and execute it. Anybody have any questions for Gary about this and any other options and pricing?
John,
This won't raise
John,
our rates, right? Yeah, John.
John, I've got a question. Gary, when we got the initial 30 megawatts from Duke Energy, my understanding was if we did not need that capacity, we would be able to sell that back, correct?
Correct. The basically the contract, even the 30 and this 30 is the same.
So this 30
is like we pay the capacity, then we have a right to take the energy anytime.
Okay.
There is a minimum 40% you have to take during the period of time, but we don't have to take. You know, for example, if daily, like summer, winter time, or every day, the market price change every hour, but there are a couple hours could be higher in favor in us. So KBIMEA basically our market operation, they will nominate this energy. Then even we don't use it, they can turn around and sell that to market. We have the right to do that.
So that the new 30, if we take it, the new 30 is treated essentially the same way as the 30 you've already approved, correct?
Correct.
And this doesn't change our commitment and our plans to go to solar, right?
No, this didn't. But I do want you to know the downside. You know, I had a lot of concern, a lot of questions I've been asked, you know, last couple of weeks is the payment of the capacity. No matter you take energy or not, you have to pay them the capacity as a grid. But you don't have to take the energy. If we like it, it is almost not, it's a guarantee of insurance. The bottom line we look at today is a guarantee the capacity under the maximum event. For example, MISO really short capacity. You know, since 2016, there's 39 different kind of event, near closed call. And there's a happened June 30th, actually happened. So during this period of time, if we do have the generation like the agreement we have, MISO has to honor that capacity to us. We can move the energy and the capacity. But meanwhile, just like Ms. Snyder asked, during this period of time, usually the market price is going to be really, really high too. So we will definitely in our favor to take the energy, either we use it or sell to market one way or another. You know, if we have a solar, we may have a little more. If a solar on, then we can take that, sell it. But when the one day or one afternoon, we really needed the capacity energy, solar, for example, is off, only like available 10% for the cloudy day. In those days, then you need it, you know, then we can take it. It's mostly is really concerned about the reliability. And certainly the second piece, our concern is a market risk, potentially in near future, particularly natural gas price went up last year from $2 becomes $3.80. This winter time looks like a $6. And potentially, if you look at the international market, LNG, which is export to the Europe and China. Recently today, David Denton sent me Wall Street Journal, like the market in China become a $30 MMBTU. Europe has been stay more than $10 to $20 range. So those time really push the, there are not much new drilling currently. And also a lot of people concerned the regulation for the fracking, all this add together. And also there are many old coal plants being closed down in MISO. All this added together, they're more concerned for the stress market move up.
Any other questions for Gary?
No, just to emphasize that this is a 5-year commitment.
Correct. When we sign a contract, which is contract supposed to 5 years, in part of the agreement, we have a right to have an option to another 30 at the same price. We have a right to, take that option anytime. We have to give them notice before October 1st. So we can take a 5-year, we can take a 4-year, we can take 3-year, in the future. So, but right now, because the recent hypermaxing event triggered the staff from KBMEA really study a lot, try to recommend the board KBMEA consider take this option.
Any other questions for Gary? Okay, seeing none, do we have a motion?
Chairman, I make a motion to authorize our Archemia representative to approve the additional purchase of 30 megawatts on the option vote being held at Archemia tomorrow.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's approved. Next is request
Chairman?
permission. Yes, Mr. Snyder.
I'd like to move to have the chair call closed session pursuant to KRS 618101C, discuss pending litigation regarding an OSHA matter.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We're going into closed session. Mr. Columbia, let us know when we can resume. I'd like a motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're back in open session. Mr. Snyder, do you have a motion?
I do, Mr. Chairman. I would direct the general counsel to proceed as directed in the closed session in the OSHA matter. The instructions were given to him by the board.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's adopted. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Go ahead,
Second.
Jason.
I second.
If no one seconds, we're gonna be on here all night. So,
I second.
we have a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Yes.